Call a meeting to order at 6:34. Let me pull up my screen for notes. Don't have my normal dual monitor. Just unfortunate, but all right, 6:34. Great. We have Joe, and Jay. Awesome. Okay. Thanks for everyone's time tonight. I think we'll probably have a shorter meeting tonight. We don't have too many things on the agenda. First thing to start off with is the approval of minutes from our November meeting. Just got it out late this afternoon, as typical.
I didn't have a chance to review it. I think they looked good to me.
You did have a chance to review it, is that right?
I did, yeah, and they
Wonderful.
looked good to me.
I don't
Since
have
it
any
was
changes
LA.
either.
Yeah, since it was LA, I obviously don't have a voice.
Okay, so I move to approve the November minutes as is.
Seconded.
Okay, seconded. Okay, let's go around the room. Orla,
Aye.
Angela,
Hi.
Joe,
I
and myself, I as well. Looks like Yash just joined. Yash, we're just barely taking a vote on the November minutes.
I'm sorry, I've not looked at the minutes yet, but I think I'll if everyone is in agreement, I'll defer myself to an aye.
Okay, yeah, everybody else is, so. Great, thanks for joining, Yash. Add you to that list, all right. Upcoming budget cycle inputs. We know, has anybody had a chance of doing any additional outreach to respective departments?
I did talk to the DPW, but there was nothing budget significant, I guess. The only one thing actually, and Jay, I meant to shoot you an email, I just didn't get a chance, was they had a question about, I guess, a fiber connection. Does that sound familiar, to run it to the top of the hill so that they could put some cameras in up there? And was curious as to the potential cost for that and whether that should be something that should be included in the DPW budget or would be accounted for elsewhere. I don't know if you've had a chance to get back to Bill or not on that.
Just a little feedback on that. I don't think he's putting that in this year for the budget.
Yes, because I think he said it's probably the ship sailed now at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we are going to review it and look at some options of getting the wiring out there. We just need some type of either short fiber run out there. I don't think it's going to be a Cat 6. I don't think a Cat 6 is gonna make it out there, and it's going to be over the 100, the 300 there. So once we get to that point, we'll start getting some pricing together and put it together. I don't think it's going to be too much to get it out there. I might look at some local vendor to do it. But again, it's not something we're budgeting for this year.
Okay. And then, because I was curious also, just like, is Wi-Fi an option for if it's just cameras, or you have to have?
No, so it's going to be a system that they're going to be upgrading in there for a new camera system in there, because currently the system in there is kind of isolated.
Yes, that's what he said. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very isolated. They can't connect to it visually outside of the network. So and there's nothing wired out there at this point. So we would need some type of hardwired connection, because then there would be a switch obviously involved with whatever camera system they hook up in there, and we want to have a hardwired connection in there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
You have cameras in other locations, and would we consider a sort of unified camera CCTV?
So two places that I can tell you that do have camera systems would be obviously the public safety building, and that would not be an option because it's totally segregated, completely non-optional. And the type of system that they use is very specific to public safety. And then the library has a system in there that I wouldn't even, it's a very small system for a couple of areas in case of issues that could arise. It wouldn't be the same type of setup that would be over at DPW. So Unless the vendor has an option for us, which again, we haven't gotten to that point where we reached out to any vendors to figure out what that option could be. If it is optional, we can definitely try to merge it together, but again, it would definitely be a separate type of system because of where it's specific to DPW and making sure that nothing malicious is happening at the transfer station, essentially. Or if anything does happen, what happened and how can they review it when they're outside of hours?
So as of today, for the library system, for example, it's more of just a recording, just again, just say in case something happens at the library, and of course the director of library, possibly other people have access to that system.
Yeah.
And this would sort of be the equivalent over for DPW. And basically the director of the DPW and perhaps select personnel would have access to it.
Yeah.
Are they considering a cloud-based system or is it on-prem?
I mean, I pushed for the cloud-based system initially, so if it is an option so that they can at least see it outside of work and it's storing data off in the cloud. I don't want anything on premise as far as storage.
Yeah.
So my first initial option was let's look for something where we can, it's recording on the cloud and we can always pull data back if we need to. So again, once we get to that point, we start really speccing it out. I'll get you guys involved and see what we're doing. Yep.
Awesome. That sounds like it'd be next year. It's not going to be this year.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
All right. Thanks.
Yep.
Yeah, and maybe at that point we should think about if there's synergies between that and the library, what the library system is using, and would the library benefit from having a cloud-based CCTV system rather than paying for service agreements for multiple systems, maybe combine and just add cameras and just add users. So, okay, sounds good. Anything else, Orla, from your DPW outreach?
We did a quick check just in terms of my agenda going into was budget, intake tools, survey feedback, and then any training needs. Nothing significant came out, I would say. Bill has now developed somewhat of his own tool for managing intake, because last time I had gone, that was a challenge he had. So now in his spare time, he has created his own solution, which allows him to manage it internally, but obviously doesn't provide outward visibility in terms of the status. In terms of other priorities for him as it pertains to tech, they have 3 aged devices, because I did ask, is that something to consider for the budget this coming year to replace those? But I guess, there's been some turnover in staff. They're now just starting to use the devices. So he wants to get them kind of using them first, and then he's said he'll replace them. As it pertains to training, he did say that maybe some help with getting folks familiar with the devices might be helpful. But otherwise there wasn't a lot of key actions, I would say. As it pertained to the survey, there wasn't a lot when I reviewed the feedback that were directly applicable to the DPW as it pertains to tech. Obviously we had the common feedback around the payment system. We did get into a little bit just because I had tried to renew my sticker online this year and it failed. But they're not super familiar with how that works. So, and I did not take screenshots or fully document where it broke down like I vaguely remembered. So I said, okay, next year I need to do that, because I guess they really only see it at the end of the process and are not really familiar with how it works. So they weren't really able to help to determine where it may be broken. But they did say a lot of folks do come in to, pay in person. Otherwise, the only other thing I guess was he mentioned that they have some challenges because there's an old version of Esri that they were using on the desktop, and I guess now it's a cloud solution, but the cloud solution doesn't have the same set of capabilities that the desktop version did, and we were only licensed for one user or one install on that. So I think that's something he was trying to figure out to see, could he install it on another device or not, based on, he has the CDs, etc. because he wants his, I think, engineer to have access to that, because right now he's a little bit of a bottleneck and be the only user of that. Those kind of the highlights of the discussion, I would say, just scanning my notes. As we think about future thoughts, sorry, that he was thinking about that were more tech related, was obviously around visibility to permits and just managing those for the workers that are out on the road. And I think that ties to getting them used to the laptops, or sorry, the iPads. Then he did also talk about the vehicle maintenance, and if there was potentially some software to help with that, because they have one mechanic who supports and I guess services all the vehicles across the town. And right now it's kind of first come, first serve, and not very proactive in terms of, okay, you know, these ones haven't been checked in 6 months, let's check this one next type of thing. It's more ad hoc. So he was interested in potentially, not this year, but kind of something in future years to look at if there's some software that could help manage that and be more proactive in terms of which, you know, vehicles needed attention. And then similarly, he talked about the SCADA water system monitoring, and just that does need an update. Again, I don't know that it's something this year, but probably in the not too distant future, needs an update, and in particular making sure that that's where it needs to be from a security perspective.
I was led to believe, Jay, what do you know about this? I was led to believe that our DPW has zero input on the SCADA water management system. It's all monitored by the what's that, the regional water supply company. And
Yeah, so it is, but also they have a monitoring system that in case something like goes, like if something overflows and they need to shut off a valve in some way or form, they have that option in a computer that's in the back over at DPW to do something like that. But it's mainly more of a monitoring system that's in place to review that. And I've discussed this in the past, that it's definitely a very old, you know, old style SCADA system. But there's like one or two options that they have available to like turn off a valve if something is overflowing, in a sense. Like if there's a place where it's just like something is not right, they can shut something down. But they don't have the overall control, because it goes to a different location for the overall control of mixture and anything else that has to do with water.
who's responsible for monitoring and patching? It's basically security of that system.
The patching and monitoring is a vendor that they work with. I have to get the name. I can't remember. It's off the top of my head. But there is a person in the DPW that monitors that system, who's been monitoring that system for the last 10, 15 years, if not longer. I think it might have been different over the last 5 or 10 years, but it's definitely the same style system in a sense, but it's been that same type of, the same person in place there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Orla, when you're in your discussions with them, it is with respect to possibly upgrading that particular system, which would really be involving in discussion with the vendor that provides it to. Is that accurate?
Yeah, and we didn't even get into, because it was more kind of at the end, he's like, okay, and if I think, you know, a couple of years out or in the next few years, what are some of the things that may crop up? So it was more future thinking, and that was one of them, but we didn't get into the specifics of, okay, how would you do that, or who needs to be involved. It was more kind of his.
That was
potential.
That was even one of the computers that I actually entirely segregated from our system because of my concern with the SCADA. I actually had them purchase a whole new Verizon line just for connectivity to that system, because there is a VPN connection back to their systems to talk back and forth to that computer. So I completely segregated it off of our network because of my concerns of it being an outdated style SCADA system that's in place there. So that was probably one of my first few things I did when I came into town. the first like year or so. I know it was a long time ago, Matt, so.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. So it's like literally it sits on its own VLAN, own subnet, nothing
Yes.
else is on it except for
Completely
talking to
separate.
back its own,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is bravo. Thank you for doing that. That's great.
And that was probably the essence of it.
Okay. Thank you, Orla. Thanks for the doing that outreach. Definitely love to continue the discussions with them, especially with respect to the work orders and starting to shift towards full visibility for the public around
Yeah.
work orders and being able to comment on it. And that's the whole, again, see, click, fix benefit. So, and also with respect to the permitting system, I understand seems like they're just sort of on the back end for the transfer station permits.
About that a little bit, the permitting system. Well, are you talking about just the experience for the sticker?
But the experience, but also the possibility of shifting towards a more a la carte,
Yes.
purchase a day pass.
About that. And I think he definitely is starting to think about that and explore it, I would say. And even potentially changing how it works in terms of like you pay less of an amount, but then you buy a bag and then you pay for the bags and then you dump that way. Which he's seen, I guess, in other towns, and he feels like it would also cut down the amount of waste that maybe comes in. But then also he did mention, and it's come up in this call as well, that there is a perception that maybe contractors, etc., are using it. But right now they have no way of really trapping that, whereas obviously a system like this would allow you to catch some of that as well. So that's kind of on his mind.
Maybe it's a good time for you and me to have a chat with him and bring this vendor in that did the previous proposal like a year and a half ago. That does a license plate tracking and does it for other towns in Massachusetts and has a full a la carte. You can recycle anything you want. You just pay for it, right? Tires.
Yeah, no, because if that was before his time, then yes, that definitely would be worth.
Yeah, that was before his time. All right.
Because I think also just him knowing that there's some support for making some of those changes, because I got the impression that he was maybe, wondering how much support there would be for making the change. So I think, if you can support that, it'd probably be positive.
Okay. I'll make notes of this. Yeah, I'll schedule some time in January with you and him to walk through that option and show what other towns are doing with respect to this. And it should make it should reduce the pressure on his staff. It should make it easier for residents and all the above. Okay, transfer station. Okay, great. Any other outreach anybody was able to do for various different departments?
Brian and I keep missing each other, and then I realized tonight I hadn't heard back from Brian Valentine. So I pinged him again. Oh, those are my three.
Okay, thanks.
I think I reported last time on the work with Youth and Family Services, and I did send her that document. And so I just need to loop back with her and get any feedback that she has on that. But that'll probably be for like next call.
Sounds good. Yeah, sure, Joe, anything to report? No?
Negative.
Okay, likewise, I don't have anything to report from my side. All right, thank you, Orla. Recent feedback, reviews, and prioritization from issues on the web properties. We've had a total of 0 additional feedback responses, as always. I do want to say that sort of the user journey collection analysis is clear that we're no time soon. Well, we didn't put it in this year's budget for a reason, right? We're trying to keep this year's budget flat or negative for a variety of reasons for the user journey tracking across multiple web properties. And that typically, the commercial offerings like the Heaps of the world or Pendo, those typically run 5,000 to 10,000 per property, per domain. So we're not going to start that this year. But I have started looking into self-hosted options. Basically, really cheap, something I could set up, and we could just on some Amazon services and just really simple. Throw a little bit of cookie code in, or code into JavaScript code into the bottom of our pages, very much like we are doing the injection of the survey, the feedback right now. So I'll look into that, and I'll work with you, Jay, once I find something that looks reasonable. But it would be something, won't be as nice as a paid for service, but it would be nearly free. So yeah. Let's see here. Oh, just taking notes. Feedback. Okay. Wi-Fi and network switch updates. How's that going, Jay?
It is done. It is done.
All done.
It is done. We
Bravo.
encountered quite a few issues that came up network wise. Just, I have explained this in the past that, this network is a very flat network that was set up prior to me, and trying to maneuver very far more VLAN advanced type technology into a very flat network became an issue. Right off the very first test that we tried to get, just the core switches up and running, things just started. It was a disaster at first. But yeah, I just looking at your text earlier today, when I seen the time that you sent it to me, I was in the middle of like testing and making sure everything was up and running. And I'm like, wow, that's why I totally didn't even see your text message. So, it was a little bit of a hassle to get everything integrated into our system, but everything is up and running. We have, Meraki systems set up throughout the entire town. Locations that never were covered are entirely covered. It's great to see, like, example like Corderville Hall. Just that new addition that they had in there was completely just a dead spot. Like even the kitchen was just a dead spot. It was 2 APs in the whole building. Now we have complete coverage throughout the entire building. It's amazing. The TV that they newly added in there for watching streaming and stuff like that is working perfectly fine now, connected to the Wi-Fi. Examples like DPW, where we had the mechanic bay, which, Orla was just talking about, where there's a mechanic in there that does updates and stuff. They had, iPads or devices that they had to connect to the Wi-Fi so they could update those devices, and they had to go back to the office, install the update, go back to the shop, and just that kind of stuff is now like seamlessly there for them. The entire DPW is covered, except for obviously the bays where all the trucks are, because there's no need for that there. Same thing goes for 21 Highland, entirely covered. I mean, you can play that picket ball stuff and look at Facebook at the same time. So it's like, it's a great thing. It's good to see that a lot of places that were dead are alive now, for internet, and everything went pretty smoothly for the library as well, for public Wi-Fi for the library. Obviously there was a few things that we had to tweak, as far as like different configurations for communication with VLANs and stuff like that for some of the public computers that are over at the library. But once we tweaked a lot of that stuff, we're 100%. So it was a really good feeling to finally get that project off my chest. And it was been a very stressful few weeks recently just trying to get that done. But yeah, 100% done. And we're lit up like a Christmas tree, as they would say.
Wonderful. Jay, thank you for your work. Thank you for your work. That's a massive project. Has been been in the planning, all of your planning for a long time. And I know this will make things a lot better for all town employees and the public who are visiting our facilities. So thank you for all of your efforts. That's exciting, and congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So I'm sure that the new Meraki interface gives you much better visibility in terms of who's using what, and you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
And the ability to tweak the things that I need to tweak like that. I mean, just, you know, just simple things like the ULA for people logging into, you know, our, you know, the library network and changing that on the fly. Like, you know, Ryan brought, you know, the library director brought something to my attention. I went in there, made the change, and it was like seamless. I was able to do that. And it just makes me, you know, FortiGate can be, you know, easy and very difficult at the same time. And working with the Meraki system, just seamlessly doing what I need to do has been a great thing as of right now. So looking forward to updating a lot more switches in town to kind of eliminate that, you know, that HP Aruba setup that we have in place right now, and really kind of switch into that Meraki system would definitely put things in a better place as well.
cool. So for my own interest, what happens to the old HP Aruba stuff? It's somehow surplus. How is it? What
Yeah,
happens to it?
I'm still trying to figure out some things to do. There are quite a few of them that I'm actually replacing, that I've replaced, that I'm looking to either do something with, or I mean, honestly, that a lot of them are pretty old systems. So by all means, Matt, if you want them, but have at it. I mean, I'm just they're so some of them are just so outdated. It was like, thank God, get off my network. So if you want to update the operating system on all of them, be my guest.
Joe, do you have a comment?
Yeah, I didn't know if you had an existing e-waste contractor or not, or I could get you a few references of folks that I've used in the past.
So for
If they're
e-waste,
so old, you have to shed. I didn't know
yeah,
if there was an official path that you have to take.
yeah. So for e-waste, we do have something with DPW that they do have a, you know, they come in and they take a lot of the e-waste out for us. I think it's a quarterly or biannually. It's like twice a month, twice a year type of thing. It could be. So there's that option. Then the other option is a vendor that we work with that could take any outdated equipment that we want to purge out to them. We can do that as well. I don't know if they're even worth it in some cases. I mean, they truly are outdated switches in some cases. So, you know, I don't think it would be a benefit to anyone out there in the system, you know, especially out in a network somewhere. So yeah, if anything, it would be with DPW and just purging them out.
Good. Thanks.
In pieces. Maybe they could be used for the centennial celebrations, 300-year celebrations.
That's how old they were.
I assume we do not have Wi-Fi. Is there Wi-Fi at the what's the name of the community center? That's that building catty corner to the
Corner?
library. What's that?
Is it the one on the corner? The
Yeah.
community?
Community house.
Yeah,
What it's
yeah.
called?
Oh, that I think it's like a brown looking building there going down Main Street. I have nothing in there at all. I have
Yeah,
no
I don't think so.
nothing. I've visited that place a few times because of the woman who kind of lives there, and responsible B that always comes in all the time. We
Yeah,
see her all the
B.
time. And amazing woman. But no, we don't have anything technical in there in any way or
No
form.
town Wi-Fi or anything.
No,
Yeah.
not even network or anything like that. It's not. I wouldn't say it's not part of the town, but it's just not part of the town that network wise. It was never something brought up to me in a sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, thanks again for your work there. Outreach for training. I know, Angela, you mentioned that you had sent that document on to Youth Family Services, the data
Right.
organization doc. You'll be continuing to work with them as you start thinking about how to organize their data. Any other thoughts from you, Angela, or other people on training needs?
No, I need to refocus on it for January. So when I follow back up with her, I'll see if we can get some time, and if we put together kind of a an overview of the training, then I can share that with others. But I've just been a little bit behind on some other things. So yeah, my plan is to refocus on that end of this year.
And last time, Jay, you had mentioned you were doing some SharePoint training, I think it was, for folks. I guess that aside then, is there other key training needs that we think are required?
So besides the, you said was that question to me? Ola?
Yeah, because
Okay, sorry, I wasn't sure if you were talking to Angela still.
Yeah, SharePoint.
Yeah, besides the OneDrive stuff that I've been working on currently internally with each individual department, there isn't anything more than what I currently do, which is, you know, the cybersecurity training that I do monthly for all team members, and you know, things change, right? Items come up, and I try to, you know, bring it to your attention, you know, to the MTC's attention as well. If it's something that I believe it's, you know, could use your assistance as far as like an input as well. Besides the SharePoint / OneDrive stuff, there isn't really anything more than that right now. Just kind of focusing on transitioning a lot of that out.
Yeah.
Sorry, my dogs are running around.
No, we can't tell. Awesome. Okay. Any other updates from outreach to any of the departments from anybody? I know it's been a busy holiday season. And the end of year is probably not the best time, but can we capture anything? All right. Last thing on the agenda then is the strategic tech plan. I know we discussed work on simplifying sort of the goals and reducing the number of metrics, doing hyper focus on high priority metrics. Angela, do you want to?
Yeah, so I do believe that I've gotten a good amount of input. So I'm preparing to sit down and redraft the document for all of us to look at in January. I just want to do a final call if there's anything else that folks want to provide or offer up, so that when I do the rewrite, we can kind of do it in one fell swoop. So if you do have anything, if you could get it over to me, you know, I'd say like by the 27th, then that would be very helpful. And obviously, I mean, it's not the final opportunity. Once we have the redraft, people can, you know, continue to provide feedback, but I just want to make sure that any big edits are captured in the first draft.
Okay. Thanks for doing that. I'll definitely review and get back to you. All right, I think that is everything. Joe, do you have some comments?
Well, I had informed Matt already that for personal reasons, I'm actually going to have to. I was hoping I could run out the rest of the 6 months left of my term, but for personal reasons, I'm actually going to have to stand down from the committee. So it's been fun. It's been real. And I don't think I have any data that needs to be swept up, but I'll double check that and sync with Jason if I need to for anything to validation of scrubbing of accounts or anything. It's not like urgent, drop everything right now, but I just didn't want to set any bogus expectations for going into the new year.
Sorry to hear that, Joe. I think you've been very, very helpful on the committee.
You will be missed.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely, Joe. That's not good to hear. Come on.
I gotta focus some energy elsewhere right now for some personal reasons. So
Thank you for all of your contributions. Yeah. So you definitely will be missed, but yeah, we appreciate it. And hopefully you don't go too far. I mean, you're in town, so.
You can keep using the internet and filling in the feedback surveys.
Oh yeah. I'll be the one
Website.
that shows up
Remember.
on the website.
Five
Like,
stars, Joe. 5 stars, Joe.
Well, you have to come to the holiday dinner. Maybe
Yeah.
we can
Yeah.
set the date for that, and then that can be like your final send off.
farewell, Joe.
Yeah, should we do that right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For our calendars.
So we said in the new year, right? This week.
Yeah, I think that would probably be easier.
What was the week what was the time you said there?
I don't think we have anything
No.
actually proposed yet.
Did you want to adjourn this meeting first and then talk about it, or it's up to you. I don't know if it's something we talk about. It's not on the agenda.
Yeah, maybe let's go ahead and adjourn. Let's find a meeting, next time meeting for this one first, then we'll adjourn and we can
Yep.
talk about that. Yeah. So what do people's schedule look like for, say, either the 14th or 21st of January?
Either is fine for me.
Yeah, the 21st is slightly better, but I could do either.
Both are fine. I'm in a situation that there might be some of this travel coming up, which I don't know. I cannot anticipate at this point which week it will be in January. If it is clashing, I'll try to take it from there, or maybe I'll have to miss that one. So any of 14.
Jay, 14th or 21st?
No prep. Both are pretty good currently, so either one whatever works with you guys is fine with me.
Okay, so it sounds like, I think Orla or Angela said the 21st may work a little bit better.
Yes.
So let's do the 21st at 6:30 p.m. Jan, 6:30. Okay, great. All right, I move that we adjourn.
Second.
Seconded.
Given that this is Joe's last meeting, I'll take him as a second. Let's go around the room. Joe,
Aye.
Orla,
Aye.
Angela,
Aye.
Dash,
Bye.
and likewise, I. Thank you, everyone. We'll go